Hey y'all, this is Healing Honey and we're back with another video. So today's video will be about the veil is thinning more and more. When I say the veil is thinning more and more, let's talk about it. So about 3 weeks ago, before I went to sleep, I was laying down and my eyes was closed. And in my first eye, I was seeing different animals like fish, lions, birds, all the animals, right? Okay. I think a day later, I end up having a dream. In the dream, there was different animals in the dream, and they were speaking to me, and they was telling me about what to come, right? And how important the animals is going to be in the near future and how we're all connected to the animals. So in the dream, I remember us talking telepathically. A lot of the times when we're communicating with beings, spirits, everyone outside of the human race, we talk telepathically. So I remember it was a lion, it was a bird, and there was some other animals as well. I also remember a ship. And when I say a ship, I mean like a spaceship. Now, this is not my first time seeing a ship. I think this is my second time seeing a ship. The first time I seen a ship was years ago in my dream. And I was on the ship. Also, I believe that ships are portals. So they're not from this earth. Now, it could be a such thing as man-made ships that, you know, the government used to make you feel this is a ship, but in reality it's man-made. So anyways, and I found it so interesting because when I'm out in nature, I speak to animals. Like, I would see a dragonfly and speak to the dragonfly. I would see a turtle and speak to the turtle. I would see a bird and speak to the bird. Just because they're animals do not mean they don't understand, does not mean they don't feel your vibrations, because animals go off of vibration. So if you have a high vibration, most likely an animal will come to you. Most likely an animal will want to be around you. So these last couple of months, it's just been birds, squirrels, turtles, dragonflies, butterflies, all type of different animals has been coming near me. After that dream, I remember me and my wife going to the park, and it was a bad flood. I ain't gonna say it's a flood, but it rained bad, like maybe right after I had that dream. And we went to the park and we found, I think, 2 turtles, right? So the water there, I'm guessing when it rained, it overflowed and the turtles that was in the water came on the land. Now, the turtles belong in the water, right? We're not just gonna leave it, you know, in the grass. So we decided to pick the turtles up and put them back in their home. That dream happened, time went by, and recently I had a dream of a gray. When I say a gray, I'm talking about extraterrestrial, what people call aliens, right? Even though that's a human name. Now, this dream was yesterday, last night to be exact. I've never seen any type of extraterrestrial in my dream. I've seen spirits, I've seen entities, I've seen portals, I've seen ancestors, but I've never seen an extraterrestrial in my dream. So in the dream, I remember it was a closet. Speaking of the closet being behind me, but it was a closet, and I can tell that the closet was a portal. And I remember probably 7 feet, 8 feet gray, what people call an alien, walking near the closet. Now the extraterrestrial knew that I was in the room. It was like the whole time I was observing everything. I was just watching. And I found it interesting that a grade decided to come visit me. Now, I don't know if y'all watched the movie Men in Black, but it's several Men in Black movies. And, you know, I'm going to talk about it. In the movie Men in Black, it's a government agency that knows about aliens, that know about extraterrestrials, that know about different beings outside of Earth and inside of Earth. So it's a government agency that work with these beings to keep quiet. Now, they don't want the masses to know that it's extraterrestrials and different beings here. They want the masses to think that it's just humans here. So they have this tool that can erase people's memory when they see different things they're not supposed to see, or hear different things they're not supposed to hear. So in the movie Men in Black, it's a whole agency that's underground, that's behind a portal. Now, I mentioned portal, right? Okay, it's different vortexes within the world that is unknown unless you have the eyes to see or know about it. So, in one of the Men in Blacks, the recent one, the one that had a female in it, I don't remember her name, but she plays on Creed. She seen a being when she was a child in her house, and she helped that being out, right? Like, she helped it escape. So I remember from the movie, later on in the movie, it's like she was fascinated the being. They didn't erase her memory, but they erased her family memory, because her family, her mama, her dad is the ones that seen it downstairs, but the being ended up coming to her room. So that's how she was able to see it. Now, they thought that she was asleep. So, you know, the agency, the Men in Black, didn't think they had to erase the child memory because the child was supposed to be asleep, right? So they erased the parents' memory. And later on in her life, she decided, I wanna find out what this is. I'm interested in this. So she go on to find out that it's a portal, and behind the portal is a building, and within this building, it's a whole agency, a secret agency that holds extraterrestrials, beings from out of Earth, beings from in the Earth, beings from everywhere, different type of creatures. And she ended up working with the agency. She ended up getting a job with the agency and working with the agency. Long story short, I brought that up because a lot of people think that extraterrestrials or different beings are foreign here, not knowing that your government been knowing about this. This is nothing new. Just because you know, they just not letting people know about what's happening doesn't mean that it hasn't been happening. It doesn't mean that they haven't been here. I remember also how each time they wanted to erase someone's memory, it makes me think about how before we come down to this earth, I've talked about how we all have contracts, and we get to decide all these things. I want to live in this state or this country. I want to have these parents. I want to be this race. I want this to be my name. I want to have this many siblings. All these different things are a part of our contract. This is my life purpose, or we may have multiple life purposes, because I don't believe that people just have one life purpose. I believe that we came back to do a lot of things. All these different things are a part of your contract. And before we come down here, we agree to these things. But it's like we get Man in Black. And when I say we get Man in Black, they swipe our memory. They make us not remember. Now, it is a lot of videos and documentaries out there of children remembering their past lives. Now, some parents allow their child to tell them what their past life were, or whenever the child come out and say, I know who I was in the past life, and this is who I was living here, I had this name, I had this family. Majority of the time, the parent don't think that the child is crazy. Majority of the time, the parent actually embrace the child, right? Now, there's other times where a child would tell a parent, this is who I am, this is where I came from. Even saying that I came from the stars, or I came from Venus, or I came from Mars, right? And sometimes the parent don't embrace it. Sometimes the parents say, you don't know what you're talking about, stop talking about that, right? But I say that because a lot of the times we have memories of where we come from. We have memories of who we are. We have memories of all these different beings. And we get told, sometimes we get told to stop talking like that, stop talking about that, or that's crazy, or you don't know what you're talking about, or that's demonic. So I believe that a life in general can make you remember. I believe that in life we have moments of remembrance. Also, dealing with the subconscious mind, your subconscious mind can bring up these different memories so you can remember who you are. And I believe that through your dream realm, you can remember a lot. I believe that different things are showed to us for we can remember. And I also believe that it is important to remember your dreams. When you go to sleep, I'm not saying you got to remember every dream. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying 80% of your dreams, 70% of your dreams you should be remembering, because remembrance of dreams have everything to do with consciousness. How high is your consciousness? I remember being a child and not remembering my dreams because of my environment. I didn't feel safe sleeping in my environment due to what was happening in my environment and due to what was happening to me. So a lot of the times when I was a child, even though I was having premonitions, I would have my premonitions while I was awake. I would see different spirits and communicate with spirits while I was awake. So it took me leaving my environment at 18 years old to start remembering my dreams, because I started to feel comfortable in my environment and comfortable within myself to start dreaming, to start remembering, to start actually resting. A lot of the things that are a part of our past or that are a part of our soul remembrance come within the subconscious mind. And we tap into the subconscious mind when we're sleeping. So when we're awake, we're operating out of the conscious mind. But when we're sleeping, we're operating out of the subconscious mind. So a lot of the times we would get messages in our sleep, whether it's from beings, whether it's from extraterrestrials, interterrestrials, whether it's from our ancestors or spirit team. I say interterrestrials because I am a believer that we have beings inside of the earth as well. Now, several movies that talks about how we have different beings inside of the earth. I don't remember one right now, but I do remember The Rock playing in one of them. He had a wife, and his wife had a child, and the child was maybe 16, 17, and I'm a long story short. So long story short, they end up traveling to go to this vortex, and in this vortex, it was on the inside of the earth. It was different birds, different butterflies. It was a whole different world on the inside. Now, a lot of the time people don't believe what they can't see, or a lot of the times people, if someone was to see it, they still wouldn't believe it. So we live in a world where we see things with our physical eyes and still don't believe. And I'm not saying everything you see with your physical eyes is real. A lot of things are projections. A lot of things are illusions. And when we're living in we're living in a simulation, and it's being projected, who's projecting it? Is it us? Is it the matrix itself? Is it just the programming? What is it? So we gotta ask ourselves these questions. What is really real? I believe that the dream realm, the astral realm, where we go when we sleep, is the real world. I believe that when we're sleeping, we're really awake, and when we're awake, we're really sleeping. So I say that as well because when we're sleeping, we're able to tap into all these different realms. We go to different dimensions when we're asleep. And as well as we're able to tap into our different gifts. Why are you able to fly in your dream, but you're not able to fly on this earth realm? Why are you able to walk through portals in your dream, but you're not able to walk through portals on this earth realm? Why are you able to see ancestors that has passed that you've met in this lifetime, but you're not able to see them here? I believe that the real realm is the astral realm. Think about it. We sleep for 8 to 10 hours a day, right? So we sleep majority of our life. And I believe we sleep majority of our life because that's that connection to the other side. Now, us being humans, we sometimes forget that we're connected to that, and we come from that. Now, a lot of the time people think that they're not connected to the divine, that they're not connected to source or this spirit energy, but we're always connected to that. The illusion is us thinking that we're not connected. The illusion is us thinking that we're outside of this energy. As well as us hearing about these different things and thinking it's scary, or thinking it's demonic, or thinking we should have fear. Why would I have fear about something where I come from? If all of these different things exist, and I am a part of these things, and I come from this place that's not Earth, because Earth is temporary. We know that, right? We know that when we come into this world, that we all have a date that we're going to transition. So we know this is not truly our home. This is just a stopping place. This is just temporarily. So when we go back into the ethers, we know all this. I'm not saying once we transition, all the answers come, but we start to remember. I do believe that depending on where your consciousness is in this lifetime is where you're going to go. I mentioned this before. Now, in the movie, in the show American Gods, I mentioned this before. It was a woman that transitioned in the movie, in the show. And when she transitioned, she went to go view her life. It was nobody there that was judging her. It was nobody there saying, you did this, you did that. So she went into an auditorium. She was the only person in this auditorium, and she was rewatching her life. Now, at the beginning of her watching her life, she really had resistance to watching her life. So the longer that she was resisting to watching her life on this TV screen, on this projection, because it was a projector, is the longest she stayed in this place. A lot of people would say it was purgatory. And while she was watching, when she finally decided to watch herself and watch her life, she realized there was a lot of things that she didn't like that she did. Also, it was a lot of things that she liked that she did. And then when I say that, we can't just talk about the bad, we're going to talk about the good too. So what she realized when she was watching, which it took someone else to come in to help her through the process, but she realized that a lot of the things that she did when she was an adult was due to her childhood. Now, she was being very judgmental to herself. She had guilt, she had shame, she had anger, she had resentment, not knowing that the woman that she became in the adult was due to what she seen when she was a child, due to her environment, due to her parents. Not saying that it was her parents' fault, not saying that her life turned out that way because of her parents, but because she didn't process, because she didn't address, because she didn't acknowledge, because she didn't heal, she brought that into her adulthood, right? A lot of the times people think that when we transition, that it's someone else that's judging us. We think that it's someone else that's pointing the finger. We think that all our actions and decisions is going to be judged by this supreme being. But in reality, who's to say that we're not the ones that's judging us? Who's to say that we're the reason why we stay in certain places? See, when we start thinking like that and seeing things from a different perspective, we also take accountability, which a lot of people do not like doing. A lot of people do not like taking accountability for their lives or their actions. But we also can't leave out the fact that once we start taking accountability for our lives and our actions in this life and after this life, is also a part of having compassion with yourself, having empathy with yourself, and having grace with yourself. So, as well as another movie, what other movie I was about to say? Another movie shows that when you transition, you're the one. Oh, that's the show. Thank you, Spirit. Lucifer. Now, people hear the word Lucifer and all you hear is fear. That's all you hear, right? But if you ever watch the show Lucifer, it's teaching something in the show. If you can get past programming and indoctrination of what we've been taught that Lucifer is and the characteristics that Lucifer have. In the show Lucifer, it shows that when people transition, the reason why they go to the places that they go to is out of shame and guilt of the choices they decided in this lifetime. They also show that at any moment, they can leave that place if they're conscious of it, if they forgive themselves, if they realize that it's a loop. Now, I feel it's very similar to what we do here, because a lot of the times people be in hell states mentally and be in loops mentally, and they make a hell for themselves through their thinking, through them thinking about the past, through them having shame, through them having guilt, right? So I feel when I say you go wherever your consciousness is, that's what I mean. If you're guilty about things you've done, if you have shame about things you've done, if you're resenting yourself and people, you're going to go to the same type of energy. You're going to go to the same type of frequency. If you're vibrating at a frequency that has guilt and shame, that's where you're going to go. Now, I believe also that these beings, these spirits, these entities are all part of us. That they're helping us remember ourselves. That you're starting to remember that I'm not just my body, that I'm more than my body, that if a book say ye is gods, wouldn't that mean I'm a goddess? Wouldn't that mean I'm a god? If I'm a reflection of this being, wouldn't that mean that I'm a god, right? But when people hear that, they think that you're being in your ego. They think that you're being cocky. They think that, oh, you think you hold more power than anyone else. No. If I come from this source of energy, and that source of energy is a part of me, wouldn't that make me that too? Ain't I'm a creator of my reality, or is things happening to me? Knowing that you're a creator of your reality is taking back your power of a creator. We are all creating 24/7. Things are not happening to you. They're happening for you. You're creating everything that you see, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the sad. But it's easier to point the finger and say, the devil did that. The devil is working. It's easier to say that, right? Instead of taking accountability and saying, I did that. Maybe it's the way I'm thinking that caused that to happen. I talked about the butterfly effect before, right? The cause and the effect. If you're having all these negative thoughts, you don't think you just caused that car accident? You could have. You could have. If you complain about your job every day and have been complaining about your job every day, and then one day you get fired, did you cause that? You could have. We don't think about these things. We just go throughout life thinking things are happening to us, but that is a part of the illusion itself. What we have to remember is, if we're creating our reality, a lot of the things that is transpiring is because of us, right? And we think a lot of the things that are so-called bad are there to punish us or make us feel bad. And we start having all these lower aspects of feelings, like guilt, like shame, like resentment. But in reality, a lot of the things in life, 90%, 95% of things in life are trying to teach us something. It's trying to make us remember something. It's trying to wake us up to our divinity. So once we start to remember, once we start to wake up, once we start to wake up to ourselves, because the whole story of your life is about you. The whole story of your life is for you to remember you, to remember your power, to remember your divinity, to remember where you came from. So, going back to my dream. Now, the way that the gray looked, he was about 7 or 8 feet. He had black eyes and gray skin. Now, a lot of the times, people would see different entities and beings and be scared. But why are you scared? Is it because you've been taught to be scared? Is it because you've never seen it before? Is it because anything outside of a human or an animal makes you fearful? What if the being that so many people believe in was to come out of the sky? Would you be scared? Would you have fear? We have to think about it. If certain things are in our subconscious mind, maybe they're communicating with you. Maybe you have a connection to these things. Maybe it is a two-way street. And when I say a two-way street, a lot of the times, a lot of spirits, a lot of ancestors feel forgotten. On the show American Gods, they talked about how the new gods are taking over, like technology, like all these different gods. And some people like, how is technology a god? Well, majority of the human race spends 80% of their time on their phone, in front of a screen, in front of a TV. So you would think that people have an addiction to their cell phone. You would think that people have an addiction to TV. How much time we spend in front of a screen. Who's ruling who? Who is in control? Because it'd be easy for someone to be like, I've been on social media for like 2 hours, let me get off. But then you don't get off. I wonder why. Who's controlling who? I don't know. So anyways, in the show American Gods, a lot of the old gods and goddesses was feeling some type of way because they wasn't remembered, because they helped beginning times, because our ancient ancestors worked with them, communicated with them, gave them offerings. And acknowledging them is acknowledging yourself and your divinity, knowing that you're not just this human being, knowing that you're an aspect of them and they're an aspect of you, because ye is God's, right? But we come to this earth and we get told that we're just our flesh, that we're just our bodysuit, that we're just our skin and our body, but we're so much more. Of course, I would tell you that you're just your skin and your body if I don't want you to evolve, if I want you to stay at this one level, if I don't want you to expand your consciousness, right? If a human don't expand its consciousness in this life, is a human really reaching all it can be? Or is the human just playing a part of the game, a part of the programming, a part of the matrix? It makes me think about Sims. And I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. In Sims, you pick your character, you pick your gender, you pick how you want it to look. Now, in the game, the person that's picking everything would be your higher self, right? What is your higher self? The highest aspect of you. See, a lot of the times we be thinking that we praying to different beings, but in reality, who's to say that we're not praying to our higher self? We also have an oversoul, and the oversoul is a combination of all your different lives, not just you just being a human, because who's to say that you wasn't an animal in a past life? Who's to say that you wasn't a star in a past life? Who's to say that you wasn't a tree in a past life? We got to think bigger. We have to think bigger. So that being said, your higher self is the self that know who they are, the self that knows their divinity, the self that knows that they're not just their body, the self that knows that they're, after they transition, or this bodysuit transition, that they're going to continue to live. With death comes life. And when you realize that when we're in this human suit, it's many restrictions. Now, it's a lot that this human suit can do if you tap in within yourself. If you was to tap into multiple versions of yourself, because we got that ability. We have the ability to tap into multiple versions of ourselves because we're existing on multiple planes. So when you're picking a character on Sims, that's your avatar. That's your bodysuit, right? Your higher self is the person behind the controller, the ones that's controlling everything, the ones that's setting this up, setting this up, right? So you're in this game, Sims, and Sims will be considered the matrix, the program. So you're in this game and you're playing this character. Now you're believing that you're this character, right? While you're in the game. You think this is your person. You think this is real. You go, you have a career, you go to work, you go to school, you have a family, you doing all these, you gotta make sure you feed yourself, all these different things. But sometimes the character you're playing, you think it's you. Sometimes the character that you're playing, you think it's real. Not knowing that by the end of the day, you gotta turn that game off. You gotta put that controller down and remember your true self. So, that being said, all these different things that's coming from the unseen realm has been here. It's normal. It's not foreign. It's just that humans don't think outside of the box. They allow people to give them boxes. And when people give them boxes, they get inside of that box. And they stay inside of that box and never try to break open that box. Never try to peek outside of that box. I remember hearing a story about crabs. And I remember in the story, one of the crabs wanted to leave because they wanted to go to the water. But the other crabs didn't want to go to the water because they were scared and they was used to being on the beach. But this one crab said, I want to go see what the water is about. I want to see what's in the water. I want to experience much more. I want to see what life is about. But these other crabs was like, no, don't go. This is all we know. We're safe here. We're safe to be here on the beach. We don't know what's in the water. Why would you go? But this crab had a feeling on the inside that it was more. That I don't care about how long I've been on the beach. I want to see more. I know it's more. It's so much more to know. It's so much more to learn. So the crab decided to go in the water. And when the crab decided to go in the water, all the other crabs decided to stay on the beach. But once that crab decided to go in the water, the other crabs started to think, oh my gosh, the crab didn't die. Oh my gosh, the crab is still alive. Oh my gosh, nothing bad happened to the crab. What if I would have had the same type of bravery? What if I had that courage? What if I didn't let fear hold me back? Who would I be? Where would I be? In life, it would be multiple occasions where you can decide to be the crab on the beach, or you could decide to be the crab in the water, because it's only so much food you can get on the beach. Where the real food is in the water, where the real information is in the water, because the other crabs on the beach is only seeing a small percentage of what is possible. It's only seeing a small percentage of the world. But once that crab go into the water is deep. The water is expansion. The water have different colors that the other crabs never seen. The water have ton of food that the crab can eat. But if that crab never left the beach, how could the crab know that it's so much more to the world? It's so much more to what I thought reality was, right? So I just wanted to share that with y'all because I feel that it's 2026, right? And We've been told a lot of things that we don't question, that we just take, and the seers would see. And when the seers see, that's how we know that the veil is thinning. The veil is thinning, and it's not anything that anyone can do about it. It's normal. I believe that everyone should be able to see spirits. I believe that everyone should be able to hear spirits. I believe that everyone should be able to communicate with spirits. But because we have a filter over our first eye, we reject and we don't see and we close ourselves off. A lot of time people think that having your third eye open is just about seeing spirits and having premonitions and seeing things that other people don't see, but it's about perspective as well. What is your perspective? How do you see things? Perspective can have everything to do with, instead of you seeing it as an obstacle, you see it as a new door opening. You see that rejection as protection. You see that denial as, oh, that just means something better is happening. That just means something greater is happening. That just means better is on its way. Oh, you just lost your car? That just means a new and better car is coming. So when we think about these different things, we can't just think about it in a 1D sense or a 3D sense. We have to think about it in a 5D sense, a different and deeper perspective. Because once we start seeing things in a deeper way, we'll be able to understand ourselves better. We'll be able to understand the world better, and we'll be able to understand and understand what life really is about. And life really is about you. Life is really about you coming home to you. I told this to my wife the other day. No matter who you meet, where you go, the people that come in and out of your life, the whole story is a love story. It's a love story about yourself. The people you met that didn't treat you right. The people that you met that you feel hurt you. You decided to set that up on the playing board. And when I say on the playing board, baby, we playing chess, not checkers. You're in control of your board. So you decided to, before you came down here and descended into this human body, you said, okay, I'm going to set this up, that up, and this up. I want this person to come in at this age, and this person is going to hurt me, but this person is going to teach me how to love me. And when I say teach me how to love me, that person came into your life to tell you, to teach you, for you to remember. Maybe you shouldn't put all your validation in someone else's hand. Maybe you need to validate yourself. Maybe you need to have self-worth. Maybe some things you need to work on internally. Because it's easier to point the finger at someone else and say, this person did this person did that. But what did you learn from that? What did you add to that? It's easier to say, this happened to me. But what did you learn from that? What did you gain from that? We look at losses and just look at the loss, but don't look at the gain. What did you gain from that? I'm realizing it doesn't matter who's a part of my life. The only real thing that's constant is me. And my wife is here, of course. Of course, my wife is here and she's been here. But this is a love story about myself. Everything in life is for you to remember yourself. Everything in life is for you to love on yourself. the people, the places, the experiences. It's for you to remember your true divinity. It's for you to remember, stop giving out so much energy to things that you feel would add value to you when you are the value. Where you have to pour into you. You have to remember you. You have to love on you. I can focus on who's not in my life anymore, or I can say, okay, that person was in my life for a moment, but they taught me to love on me more. They taught me to value me more. They taught me to put myself first more, right? Right. So I hope that y'all got something from this video. A lot of people have spiritual gifts and abilities that they block out, that they suppress, that they think they're going crazy, but in reality, it's you. It's your gifts. It's your ancestors. It's your abilities. And it's easier to act like you don't see something, right? It's easier to act like you don't hear something, right? Or think that something is demonic or bad because that's what you've been told. But it's not. It's not at all. And I've been seeing more spirits lately. That's how I know. Also, in the physical realm, they're coming out more. And I believe that spirit only show itself to you when you're ready, but as well as you having to have an open mind about a spirit and being able to understand that a lot of the things that we see are aspects of us, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the sad. So that being said, these next couple of years, baby, if this is 2026, these next couple of years are really about to show a lot. And it will be a lot of fear pushing to the masses. It will be a lot of illusions to the masses. But it's up to you to use your discernment, because that's part of your third eye, your crown chakra. It's up to you to use your discernment and listen to your spirit and your intuition to know what's for you and know what's real and what's not real. We live in a world of celebrities that act. They get paid to act. They get paid to influence. So be aware of the actors. Be aware of the influencers. What are they influencing? If you ask me, every celebrity is the same. They're on a playing board too, but who are they playing? They playing the game. Now it's time for you to play your own game. I hope that y'all got something from this video. If y'all are interested in any of my one-on-one sessions, it is in the description box below. I thank y'all and I love y'all. Until next time, hail and honey, peace.